Hey guys, wanted to talk about something real quick. Um, stop cussing. Stop cussing. God doesn't want you cussing. There's so many people that cuss, and maybe because they see it in movies or shows and it seems cool. And I think a lot of people do it out of just straight stress. You're just stressing out, and so instead of taking it to prayer, life is hard, people are competitive with you, your job is difficult, and then so you cuss to vent that frustration. But, God has given ways to vent that stress through exercise, working out, being healthy, studying His Word, praising Him, giving it your problems over to Him, casting your cares upon Him because He cares for you. And the Bible says, if a man wants to see good days and live long, the book of Psalms says, keep your mouth from evil and don't let it speak any guile. So you don't want to speak guile, which is what cussing is, and you don't want to curse. It happens where you might do it accidentally, but it's not something you want to continue in, because when you're cussing, it's a sin. And so when you're living in sin, your situation might have been stressful, but when you cuss, you're going to make it more stressful, because the blessing of God is going to have to come off of you in that moment, and He may not be able to favor your day as much, because the Bible says if a man wants to see good days, let him keep his mouth from speaking evil and guile, and it is evil. So when you cuss, you're choosing to speak evil, and so your days aren't going to be as good, your life won't be as happy. So I would just highly encourage all of you guys to refrain from cursing, refrain from cussing. I know you might think sometimes it's funny, or your boss thinks it's funny, or your coworkers think it's cool, but you don't want to think about what's cool. It's about what is God pleased with, and what is God going to bless. That's all that matters. What is God going to bless? Because what the world thinks is cool isn't going to help God bless you. And if God doesn't bless you, you're not going to be happy. What's going to make you happy is God blessing you, God honoring you, God lifting you, God teaching you of His ways. And because God is the one who can provide the blessings and make the desires of your heart come to pass in reality. But cussing's not going to help that happen. And living in sin and compromise, any kind of sinful compromise you have, looking at pictures on the internet, certain things, that's not going to help your reality become something that satisfies your soul. The only one who can satisfy your soul is the one who made the soul, who made the body, made the heart. He knows the desires of your heart, and He knows how to bring it to pass in reality. So when you cuss, you choose sin. When you don't cuss, you choose righteousness. Choose righteousness. Conquer your flesh. Conquer the tongue. The Bible says if a man can tame the tongue, he is a perfect man and able to bridle the whole body. Cussing doesn't benefit you. It doesn't benefit those you're teaching to cuss when they hear you. It doesn't benefit anybody. It only hurts your own blessings. And it takes the stress you had, and it will make you more stressful, because God won't be blessing you as much, and you won't be seeing good days as much. You won't be living as happy as you would have lived had you not cussed. So I just want to encourage you guys, don't be deceived by sin. Never be deceived by sin. The Bible says sin leads to death, and it does in fact. It does in fact. It leads to death. So righteousness leads to life, it leads to peace, it leads to wisdom, it leads to riches at times, it leads to honor, it leads to life, but sin leads to death. Don't choose sin. Don't choose lust, don't choose cussing, don't choose those little things that you think are little sins, but you think they're not hurting anybody, because they are. They're hurting you. You may think they're not hurting anybody, but it is. When you lead people to sin through your cussing, then they start cussing, then the blessing of God comes off their life too. You are in fact hurting them, because you're leading them astray. Jesus said if the blind lead the blind, they both will fall into the ditch. If the blind lead the blind, they both fall into the ditch. So you need to realize living in sin, and that kind of sin is a public display, and cussing is a public display of sin. And it causes others to stumble, because they do it and then they can't be blessed. So don't choose that. Choose to keep your tongue from evil and live good days, like the Bible said. It says if you keep your tongue from evil, you can see good days and you can live long. And I don't know anybody who doesn't want to see good days and live long. So God bless you guys. Just wanted to encourage you with that. Refrain from cussing, refrain from profanity. It does not benefit you. It does not make your stress go down. It does not benefit your situation. It only hurts you and actually is going to make your stress go up. Remember, it's not going to make the stress go down. Cussing is going to make your stress go up. So just remember that. God bless you guys. Thank you.